everyone. I am back for another episode of Criminal Justice Cafe. I'm Jacqueline Polverari, as you all know. I have today joining us Larry Levine from Wall Street Prison Consultants, who is the famous Larry Levine. And if you don't know who he is, you will know by the end of our podcast. He's going to help our listeners understand a little bit more about the criminal justice system. But first, I do want to say today is a milestone for you. Is that correct? 10 years?
Well, today's a milestone because 23 years ago today, and I'm in LA, so I'm Pacific time, at 6:10 p.m., August 3rd of 1998, I was arrested. I got hit for narcotics trafficking, securities fraud, racketeering, obstruction of justice, and machine guns. You know, mine was an organized crime case, and I was under investigation by just about every agency you can think of. And I got 2 10-year sentences and a 5-year sentence, ran concurrent. So,
and you're sitting here with us today.
I am.
So who'd think it?
Hello, TV world. Okay.
Hello. So tell us about you and what you do, and then we can get into the fun stuff about criminal justice.
Stuff. Well, again, I served 10 years in the feds. I was in 11 different institutions where most people, probably a bunch of your listeners, because I know you run these groups, these support groups or whatever the hell it is you do,
Yeah.
that they may end up at one place. You know, they're not going to end up at a lot of places. In my own situation, the BOP that's the Bureau of Prisons, for those of you that don't know, but you'll learn. The BOP was a little pissed off at me helping people get out early, get medical care, get designated. I mean, just a variety of stuff. And I guess my claim to fame is when I was in El Paso, Texas, at the federal prison, it was called Latuna Federal Prison, that they illegally moved us from Nevada to Texas. And I went on Front Street and I filed a class action habeas corpus lawsuit. Hell, you probably don't even know about this, do you?
I don't. I never heard this story.
I filed a class action 2241 habeas corpus lawsuit on behalf of everybody. And I caused the BOP to move hundreds of people all over the country. They were like, really?
And they were not happy about that.
Well, check this out, honey. They tried to release me early just to get rid of me. And I told them, I'm not leaving. I'm staying. And I am going to screw you people right to the last minute. And I'm going to tell you step by step how I'm doing it. And there's nothing you can do to stop me. And I did. And I'm ashamed to say that this business, Wall Street Prison Consultants, wasn't my idea. It was all the inmates that I helped when I was in custody that said, wow, I wish I had met you before I went in. And you could have worked with me and worked with my lawyer.
There was nothing back then.
And being a smart ass Jew, I thought, well, shit, I can turn this into a business, you know? And here we are today. And I've got people all over I would say not all over the country. I got people all over the world that are in trouble with the feds. And they reach out to me at all stages of their criminal case, even before they get indicted. You know what a target letter is?
Yes.
Yeah, they reach out when they get that letter from the Justice Department saying, we believe you committed a crime and you better go contact a lawyer. Well, a lot of people...
So let me ask you something. Wait. So 11 prisons, and tell us how they transferred you from one prison to another, because our listeners, our community people don't know this.
I have been on a bus trip where it's called, they FedEx you, if you will, where they put you in the leg chains, you got the belly chain and your black box and you can hardly move. That's called a bus transfer. It's done by the marshals or done by the BOP. Looks like it's funny. It looks like a Greyhound bus. There's no markings on the side, so you really can't tell.
Right.
But they're so fucking stupid because if you look at the license plate on the bus, it says Bureau of Prisons, U.S. government.
Right on the back.
I did bus transfers. I also did furlough transfers. They furlough transferred me 3 times because they really wanted to get rid of me. They
were hoping you'd escape.
They were. They opened the gate and said, leave, just go, take yourself wherever. And then I am an alumni of Con Air. Did you fly on Con Air?
That's what people don't understand is a real thing. It's not just a movie.
I'm the first one in my family to fly on Con Air. Now, that's really not what it's called. It's called JPATS, Justice Prisoner Air Transportation Service. And they were moving me, where was I going? They were moving me from Oklahoma City back to California. They wanted to get rid of me. And I had the honor of sitting chained up next to a serial killer for about 4 hours.
Holy crap.
And he was going back to court on something. And, the guy seemed normal. He was actually very intelligent. But they say you really can't tell. Now, check this out. When you go to Oklahoma City to the Federal Transfer Center, they call it FTC Oklahoma. The plane pulls up just like a regular plane. And there's like a prison complex. I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 stories right there at the airport. They bring the jetway over to the plane and they call your name and you walk off. And instead of there being stewardesses or something, there's U.S. Marshals. So you're all chained up and you're walking right into the prison. Jackie, after being in all those institutions, in dealing with all the incompetent, stupid BOP staff, and I'm talking really stupid.
Yeah, 11 prisons.
That I would say Oklahoma City was probably the most efficiently well-run facility I'd ever been at. And I believe why, because I was there a month. Some people have been there longer, I'm sure. I know that Lynn Espejo, she was there also.
She was there, yeah.
She was there. That you're not there long enough to develop a personality clash with the staff. So they have no expectations of you other than to stay out of trouble. And you have no expectations of them, and wasn't a bad gig. I mean, I spent 10 years in the feds in 11 different places.
11? That's a lot.
Well, they moved me around. They were pissed off at me helping people. You know what? I don't regret 1 minute of it. If I had to do it all over again, I would. See, most people hard time it and they stress out in prison.
Yeah.
I was a troubleshooter for the mafia. Maybe you've heard of them before I went in. I
never heard of the mafia, no.
Never heard of them. Nobody has.
Never heard of them.
They don't exist. All right. So listen up, people.
Ferrari. No, I've never heard of them.
Of course not. Yeah. Okay. I'm coming over for spaghetti and meatballs tonight. Maybe some ravioli, honey.
Right.
Anyway, I was like an efficiency expert for the mob. They would bring crime to me and I'd make crime better, like more bang for the buck. And prior to that, I was like a private investigator in LA and they reached out to me and one thing led to another. And over a course of time, I'm running criminal operations in a 3-state area. The only reason I was never made is because I was Jewish and not Italian.
Yeah, no, that couldn't happen.
Now, you know what? Like I said, I wouldn't change anything. People ask me, do you have any regrets? I cried one time. And that's when I was on the phone with my daughter. And she was crying. And I just felt so bad I cried with her. I went into prison a father and came out a grandfather. You want to talk about culture shock?
That's a culture shock.
I like my grandchildren better than I like my kids. And I let them do shit their parents.
Everyone says that who has grandkids. Everyone.
My problem with my kids, and if you little assholes are watching this, maybe you will, I don't know, because I'm going to post it. You think I'm a fucking ATM machine, and I'm not.
Oh, yeah, they do. All kids do.
If you want money, you want something, Grandpa, Dad, I'll help you out when you help yourself. And that's the problem with society, Jackie, that my daughter's name is Jackie.
Well, that's the same thing with women that I deal with is I have a complete, like we were talking about empathy before. I have sympathy and empathy for anybody who has made a very poor choice and wants to go forward in life. I don't have empathy for anyone who doesn't take responsibility and wants to help them, and they don't want to help themselves.
I wish I had empathy. Back in my day when I went in, you committed your crime, you fucked up, you got your sentence. Okay, you went into custody, maybe you had a reason for appeal. and you did your time and you got out. Now you got all these people, and I'm sure there's a fucking grip of them who are going to watch this that are whining, crying, and complaining that it's not fair. They shouldn't have to go in. They want to get out. Can I get on home confinement? My lawyer told me I'm going to get probation. Well, you're dumber than your lawyer if you believe that.
Yeah,
people,
it's true.
You need to do your time. You need to step up, take responsibility for what you did.
Yeah.
I'm honest with my clients, and that might be a problem because I tell them what they don't want to hear.
I don't think that's a problem at all. Well, that's admirable to me.
It's like, I won't spoon feed bullshit to people. I tell them the truth. This is the way it is, and this is why. If you don't like it, too bad. Now, I've got
I can't understand that whole. I just don't understand the women and men that I talk to that hate the BOP for giving them time and having to go in, but it's not about that for me. It's about the ineffectiveness and the BOP's complete lack of.
See, I'm different. I actually enjoyed federal custody. I had a prison shrink said that I treated the Bureau of Prisons like it was my own personal adult amusement park.
That's screwed up, Larry.
I found that the 10 years that I was in custody was relaxing. I had no one hitting me up for shit. No one was trying to borrow money from me. And I was helping people. And I learned things. I learned the law. I learned how things work. And, now I help people. That's my job.
Yeah. You learn a lot about yourself, too. I mean, the same for me.
Well,
that 7 months were
I learned stupidity. I learned that there's smart people among the staff and there's stupid people among the staff, just like the inmates. Smart and stupid.
Well, we say all the time, especially on this show, common sense will not be tolerated in the BOP.
Well, okay. Yeah. Do you know how long the BOP's training academy is?
How long? I do not know.
Just take a guess.
I'd say if you're going to go in as a correctional officer, I bet you maybe 6 months.
How about 21 fucking days?
No.
Yes, it's hard. This is funny. There was a guy I was with, or a staff member, that at Safford, Arizona, at the FCI there. I was behind the fence at that one. And he said that his wife was like a manager at McDonald's or an assistant manager. And her training was longer and more intense than his was in Glencoe, Georgia at the BOP Training Academy. And I believe him. I don't have to tell you, these aren't the smartest people in the world.
No, they really aren't. And the thing about it is they're not trained in psychology or sociology. They're trained in pure, just punishment.
Yeah,
that's
all they know. Common sense. That's the problem.
Yeah.
They scrape them. Imagine you're walking through a field and there's some horse shit in the field that gets on the bottom of your shoe. Well, you go to the curb and you scrape that off your shoe. Well, you know what? The stuff on the curb's eligible to go work for the BOP.
It's true. I used to ask all the time the question, well, why? Why is it that way? Just to piss people off. Yeah, because they can't answer you. They don't know why. And the answer I would get from correctional officers was, because that's the way it is. I felt like a child. When you're a kid and your parents say, because I said so, that's exactly what
but Jackie, they're not lying to you.
Yeah, no, they're not. I had to take.
They really, really, really don't know. I would have staff come up to me at multiple institutions because these stupid dumbasses, they knew I knew their policies better than they did. And they would ask me, can we do this? And depending on the time of day, if I was like mentally stable, I would give them a completely different answer. As the shrink said, I treated it like an amusement park, and I screwed with the shrinks too. When I was at another place in Arizona, it was, I think it was not addiction therapy. What do you regret most about going to prison? And they would always schedule me to go to these damn psychology group sessions.
Yeah, right.
So I told this lady Her name was Cindy Matthew. She was a cute little thing from Texas. She was married to a border patrolman. I've stalked her since then, and she's put on a ton of weight. But I told her,
I can't with you, Larry.
I told her that, because, what do you regret most about going to prison? And I go, well, I regret that I wasn't able to commit fraud on eBay when it first started, because I heard it was really easy to do. She goes, that's not what I meant. You regret that you couldn't commit fraud?
Did she tell you that's criminal thinking?
She said something like that. And I told her, well, you're a doctor of psychology. And she shook her head all proud. I says, well, check it out. I'm a doctor of crime. I plan crime. I know all about crime. And, before I went to prison, as I said, I was a private investigator in LA doing all kinds of rotten shit. But let's take a step back before that. You don't know. There's a bunch of shit about me you don't know.
Well, that's why I wanted to have you on the show, Larry, so I could find all this stuff out.
I was a military intelligence officer for 10 years.
Get out.
I was. And I learned shit and experienced things in different countries. You can't even imagine the shit that I'm lucky to be alive. Now, when you put that in perspective, you're a few years younger than me. How old do you think I am? How old do you think I am?
I'd say you're in your 50s.
I just turned 60 July 1st.
Get out. You look great.
That's because prison preserved me, because it was a stress-free environment.
It is stress-free.
You have no responsibility. Gee, let's see. It's 4 o'clock. At 3:30, it's count time. I better get back to my housing unit. I better be standing by my bunk. Oh, we're going to have a 10 o'clock count. Going to prison, people, it's all common sense.
It is, but there's not a lot of common sense within the walls.
My best friend in prison was a clipboard, a yellow legal pad, and a mechanical pencil. And I was constantly planning, working on things for when I was going to get out. Yeah, I didn't waste my time. Most people that go in sit around watching MTV and jerking off and playing cards.
Yeah.
I spent my time in the law library helping people.
Yeah, well, you were in a real prison. You were in a camp.
Well, you were at a camp.
I was in a camp, but you weren't.
I spent some time in a camp. Sure.
Oh, did you?
I was at high security. I was at medium security. I was at low security. I was at minimum security.
So you got a great perspective on it all.
Well, I was in 11 different places. Here's the deal, hon. You could spend 20 years, 25 years in and not know what I know. I get people call me all the time. I want to be a consultant. I'm thinking, great, another asshole competitor. But I'm like, okay, what did you do when you were in there? I played basketball. I went to recreation. And I asked them, you know what a BP 8, 9, 10, and 11 is? You know about habeas corpus? Do you know what a 2255 is? They're like, no. I go, well, what makes you think that you're even qualified to be a consultant? These people go in there and they're like mindless drones and they waste their time. Where I spent my time learning what really matters. And now I'm running this business. I got people reach out to me every day that are in trouble.
I want to talk about this now. I want to talk about the consultants, because I've talked to so many people and everybody seems to tippy-toe around this subject of prison consultants. I've talked to a lot of prison consultants. I guess I don't get it. Maybe it's because I'm the idiot and I don't charge for my services.
You're a philanthropist?
Huh?
You're a philanthropist?
I'm an idiot, I think. Well, I don't charge. I don't charge to help anyone.
God bless you. If you don't charge, I'm going to send all my clients over to you and you can work on their shit for nothing. How's that?
I do. But I think what it is that I don't understand about it is when I spoke to you, and I know I've referred a few people to you because of your honesty. I've talked to some of these consultants. I looked for a consultant when I went in. I had somebody quote me. They wanted me to pay them $12,000 up front. And
was that Justin Perperny?
Huh?
Was that Justin Perperny?
It was.
How did I know that?
$12,000.
What does he call himself? Fraud in court? No, white collar advice.
Yeah, and I don't understand it. And you know what he said to me? Well, do you get drunk? I said, no. He said, well, you should start. You got to tell them that you get drunk. And I said, Well, I'm not going to get enough time. I wasn't in the BOP for long enough to even be able to do RDAP.
What he just did is broke the law, and he misapplied the law to you. You have to have, I keep putting my hands in front of my face. I can't do, everybody's telling me, don't do that. You have to have a substance abuse issue 1 year prior up until when you either committed your crime or if you got arrested. So you are already in trouble, and developing a substance abuse issue after the fact, it's not going to work. Now, if nobody knows about it, remember, when you do your PSR, probation sentencing report.
Correct. That's when everything comes out of who you are.
Okay. You got something called a PSI, pre-sentencing interview. That's when somebody from probation or pretrial services comes and talks to you, lies and acts like they're your best friend, and they really screw on the end. Well, they're going to write this whole report. And in the report, you need to talk about you have substance abuse issues. Yeah. You need to let them know. I mean, I get people all the time that tell me, well, I really don't have a problem. I go, well, let's break it down. Do you drink wine? Yeah. Well, how often do you drink? Oh, I don't know. I probably have 2 or 3 glasses a night, but it's not a problem. I go, okay, how about beer? And, well, I have a 6-pack every couple of days or something, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I go, well, let's figure this out. There's 365 days in a year. So now we can kind of determine you consume alcohol, I don't know, 700, 800, 900 times a year. You don't think that's a problem? I mean, I don't.
Well, that's a problem in itself that he doesn't think it's a problem.
But people have problems and they don't know it, and they can take advantage of that. Listen up, people. Don't sell yourself short. Don't make stupid mistakes and stupid decisions. I mean, Jackie here, she does her stuff for nothing. Yeah. I charge for what I do, but I don't charge $12,000 like Justin.
Yeah, but I don't do prison consulting. So that's the thing. Is it
what is it? Okay, I'm going to turn into interview stage. Okay. I do a lot of, for those of you that don't know, I do a lot of CNN, Fox News, MSNBC. In fact, I'm at one of the studios now. I have full access to. So we're here with Jackie Pavulari today, and she runs the Criminal Justice Cafe. So Jackie, tell our listeners, what is it that you really do? I really don't know. What is it?
You don't? Okay, so I founded Evolution Reentry Services for women who are going into prison, coming home for prison, for support services. I run a Wednesday night women's support.
You hold their hand.
Yeah, it's more about feelings. We talk about feelings. We talk about how you're going to talk to your family. We talk about, it's the stuff that gets them through emotionally.
You're force-feeding empathy.
Yeah, I am empathetic.
I just don't have it. Look, people, if you call me, let me give myself a plug. 855 prison, 8555 prison. I kid you not. That's my phone line. You call me, I'm not going to be the nicest person in the world. I'm not. But here's what I will be. Here's where the value is. I'm going to be honest with you because that's what you need. I'm not going to be empathetic. You screwed up, you fucked up, you got in trouble, you're going in. Deal with it. But I'm going to help you through your process. We're going to work on designation. We're going to get you to a good institution. We're going to get you qualified to get into programs that can get you out early. And if something comes up while you're in custody, and I guarantee it will, because if the BOP followed their own policies, hell, I'd have been out of a job yesterday. I'm going to teach you what you need to know to help you get through this. And I'm not charging you $12,000,
Yeah, look at that, Larry. What a team we make. So you're the hardcore guy. You teach them the truth. You teach them the facts. You show them what they need to know. I'm more about the emotional side.
I don't know. People, I catch, and you know what? Where some people might just know about the BOP. They know about the prison. Good for you, people. They took me to sentencing 17 times. They flew in people from Europe to testify against me. They had me in isolation because they were afraid, I don't know, I was going to take control of the prison.
Did you go to trial? You didn't go to trial.
No, I had a plea. I had 100 co-defendants. It was a huge organized crime case.
Wow.
And while I was at MDC Los Angeles, it's kind of like where Jeff Epstein did his early checkout there in New York. I spent my time reading people's indictments and plea agreements, criminal, everything, criminal complaints, sentencing memorandums, PSRs. And I'm thinking, well, this guy had the same charge. Why did he get a different sentence than he did? It didn't make sense to me. And then I figured it all out and started helping people there. So I'm helping people. Hell, I'm not even sentenced yet myself. And I turned it into, I don't know, a business, a consulting company, whatever it is, so I could help people, get people out early and get people the help they need. You know, I went off on a tangent. I don't even remember what the fuck I was talking about. But I don't.
Well, you know what it is, Larry? Because you're on more of the business side of prison. I'm on more of the sociological side.
Well,
there's no money in social services.
I have two women that work with me in different capacities and different ventures. I've got Pink Lady Prison Consultants, which some of you may know.
Holly, I love Holly to death.
Okay. Got Holly Coleman working with me on that. So if you're a woman and you're in trouble, then Holly Coleman can help you. I've got Lynn Espejo, who went to trial.
Been on my show.
And she's working with me on the Midnight Report, where we're reporting on criminal justice.
She knows her stuff. She knows policy. You know
who my biggest visitor to the Midnight Report is the Justice Department.
Is it really?
I have excellent tracking software. I can see who's on there. And when I know they're on there and what page they're going to, I go and pop shit on the screen just to fuck with them. But I've got a good support staff of people that work with me. And I've got Jeff Grant. He did time. Jeff
Jeff and I work together a lot.
I know. Jeff, he's up there in Connecticut near Jackie. He just got his law degree back.
He did.
These are all people that know their shit and can really help you. Then there's other consultants out there that are just so full of shit, and all they're going to do is tell you what you want to hear. You know, I can do that too if you want. Same price.
Well, that's what's so scary about it is that you have someone who's in a vulnerable position. They're gonna get indicted. They're gonna do time. They're terrified. And now they got to pick a prison consultant. And they're calling these people. And I never called a prison consultant. He called me. And
I know how he got your information too.
Yeah. He called me and I was going to hire him. Then I thought, wait.
Holly did hire him. Do you know that?
Did she? I didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, here's how Holly and I, this is really funny. Here's how Holly and I met. She was having a problem when she got out. She reached out with probation and restitution. Yeah. She reached out to Justin Paperny, who either blew her off, didn't know the answer, couldn't help her, and a guy named Mike Santos. You know Mike Santos?
Yeah, I do know. Yep.
Mike Santos, who did a grip of time, I respect him. He told her, well, why don't you reach out to this guy, Larry Levine? He could probably help you out. So she reaches out to me, and I asked her the first question, like, do I know you? Because I suspect everybody's the FBI, you know?
Yeah. I think you said that to me when I talked to you.
I probably did.
Yeah, I think you did.
So I listened to her story, if you will. I had her shit figured out in about 15 minutes. She goes like, well, that's amazing. You know, I said, I'm Jewish. I put on a cape, I could probably fly around the room or something. But anyway, I had her shit figured out. And I asked her, well, why did you hire Justin? Why didn't you just hire me? What do you think her answer was?
I don't know.
Because
I know Holly pretty well, so I could imagine what it is, but I don't know. You tell me.
She said that I was scary.
You are scary, Larry.
Bullshit.
You are.
Listen, all those rumors, and this is in my PSR. The FBI said I was killing people for the mafia, putting bodies in trash dumpsters, and dumping people in the ocean. I kid you not.
That's scary.
But I never did it.
Doesn't matter. It's scary.
Yeah, it is what it is. But there's all this persona around me, you know, and it's kind of like I've got to change my image. I wear
Let's do that. Let's get to know the real Larry Levine.
Okay.
Yeah, let's break that in there a little bit. You got to have some. Now, I know you're married.
I'm going to do something right now. Hold on. People, this is something I've never done before. And I was suggested to do this. Okay?
Okay.
I'm going to take off my glasses that make me look like an asshole.
No,
My
you won't.
agent told me a long time ago, never take off your glasses. Okay. I'm going to cut over here to, you should see something. You see something that says indictment?
Indictment, yes.
Okay. And when I cut back, there I am. You can see my eyes.
Look
right?
how handsome you are.
Hi, everybody.
Now, you are so approachable now.
Am I?
Yes.
Well, I'm going to be doing, since I've got this cool studio, I've got like 3 different studios they'll let me use. Because I have these cool studios, I'm going to do my own set of videos competing with that guy. What's his name? R-Rat Dan?
Oh, RDAP Dan. I've seen.
I thought it was. Are you sure? I thought that was R-Rat Dan.
No, I think.
What do I know? I'm going to compete with him as far as videos. I'm going to compete with Justin Paperny. I'm going to compete with other people. Look at the quality of my feed versus what they're putting out.
Yeah.
You can't compare it. You really can't.
But see, this is the look I love.
Do you
the
really?
Look that women, you're going to get the women come because you're not scary anymore. You look approachable.
I already get the women coming. I get proposals every week. Women want to have my baby and they want to go take me to Hawaii and on cruises and to Europe.
But you tell them you can't because you love your dog?
I should say that. But here's what I tell them. I don't tell them, and I'm married. Here's my ring.
Yeah.
I don't tell them yes. I don't tell them no. Tell them, yeah, you know what? I'll get back to you and I'll let you know. It just drives.
Oh God, your wife's a saint.
You know what's funny? We'd be laying in bed and I get a phone call and I'm talking to whoever and I'd hang up and I go, just got invited on a trip to Hawaii. And she goes, well, when do we leave? I go, well, they didn't invite you. They invited me. But you know what? I've been with her 12 years. She's used to this shit by now.
So you weren't married prior to going.
My dead ex-wife, and don't say how sorry it is, because she wrote a letter to my judge at sentencing, told them about crimes.
This is why you're scary, Larry.
Told me about crimes they didn't even know about, and told them to give me as much time as possible. And luckily it was outside the statute of limitations, so the court couldn't do anything about it. But she left, God, long before I got in trouble, left me with the kids, you know, and the court even commended me on being a good father, but it apparently didn't have much effect or anything. But we divorced when we were inside. She waited until the kids were over 18, so she didn't have to. So there was no child support issue.
Yeah, right.
This is really funny, though, because I had nothing but time on my hands, and I had a really nice law library where I was at in Lompoc. So I took the paperwork that she sent me when the sheriff came out and served me, and I filed some papers and a motion, and I asked for spousal support, saying that I had supported her all these years, and I'm indigent now, and all this nonsense, and that I wanted $300 a month to go on to my inmate trust fund account, so I could buy the necessary, whatever bullshit, the necessary hygiene, whatever. And she got so pissed off. You know what?
I'd be pissed off too.
I did it on purpose, though.
Of course you did.
To amuse myself, because I knew. I figure, you know what, honey? Listen up, bitch. That's payback. You wrote a letter to my judge. I signed a plea agreement. Check this out. I signed a plea agreement for 70 months.
Oh, wow.
I ended up getting 120 months. Now, do I really know if she was behind it? Because these judges, I mean, hell, they can do whatever.
You don't know, because there's no rhyme or reason. They choose what they want to do.
There's no rhyme or reason. That's why I'm saying don't feel bad she's dead or anything. She had a drug problem. She had a substance abuse problem. She had it before I went in. Matter of fact, after she left me and the kids, she was doing, I think it was crystal methamphetamine or something.
Oh, wow. That's horrible.
And some people sold her some products, some drugs, and didn't know who she was. And they came to me and apologized and brought me the money that she paid them. And
Get out.
They said they were sorry and they wouldn't do it again and they would let other people know.
So you lived in this whole world that I couldn't even imagine that you're kind of like Stallone in Rocky.
Yeah. See, you're not a criminal. Okay, let's break it down. You're not a criminal. Holly Coleman, she's not really a criminal. Lena Espejo, she's not a criminal. Jeff Grant, well, he made a couple poor choices. I was living a criminal lifestyle.
Yeah.
The federal prosecutor in LA called me the supermarket of crime. And he said I had my hand in everything dirty in Los Angeles.
But you acknowledged all that, correct? I mean, you acknowledged it.
Well, we proved I did. And just to show him that I had a sense of humor too, I wrote a screenplay like everyone else when I was locked up, and I wrote him into my screenplay as a homosexual prostitute. I didn't want him to think that I forgot about him. And asshole, if you're watching this, I still have that screenplay. Maybe one day I'll release it. See, for me, this was entertaining. That's my biggest problem. I'm hard to buy gifts for because I can just go buy whatever I want. I generally, like my wife says, well, what do you want to have for dinner? I don't care, whatever, and I really mean it. I don't care. I don't care as long as it's edible. But what I do know is if I want ice cream, if somebody wants to send me some ice cream, I want chocolate chip or mint chip.
Wait, I got to write this down. Chocolate chip or mint
chip. See, I know what kind of ice cream.
I'll remember that
it is that I want. And here's something for you people. I mean, I don't go to McDonald's often. When you go and they give you those receipts and it says on there, call and take our survey and you get buy and get one free and you do the number. Look, don't do the number because nobody checks it off. So go in there and buy a drink for $1. If it's $1 where you're at, go ahead and make a number up and write it on there and then walk back in and buy your sandwich and get one free. Just little ways to cut corners. Nobody checks this stuff. That's my way. All right, check it out. I get calls all the time from people that are in trouble, and I listen. It's like Lori Loughlin called me during the.
Yeah, I do know that.
Yeah, and she tried to pretend she was somebody else, and I caught her. But I get these people call me that are child molesters, kiddie porn, whatever it is. And I listen to them like, And I go, look, I'm sorry, I can't help you, but I'm going to give you some free advice. And they're like hanging on every fucking word that I'm saying.
Yeah, at that point,
I tell them, you need to pray because you're going to get beat up every fucking day. Now, that's not true. They're really not going to get beat up every day. But I tell them that so they're scared when they go in. That's my way of giving back to the community. That? I want them to be scared. I had a guy.
Well, you know what? I'm going to interrupt you a minute. So I know a time recently that you were pretty scared because you had COVID, right?
I live in Ventura County, which is between LA and Santa Barbara.
You were real sick.
Smack in the middle. I have a pacemaker. It's right here. I have high blood pressure. I'm diabetic. High cholesterol, 5 stents, and irregular heartbeat. I was the 14th person in Ventura County to get the coronavirus on April Fool's Day, April 1st, 2020. I thought I was as good as dead. Seriously. Yeah. I told everybody, well, you know what? I had a good run. I'll see you on the other side. God spared me, I believe, because I help people. I help people like you. And if I can't help you, I'm not going to lie to you and tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you not to hire me and don't hire anybody else because they're just going to rip you off.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you did right by I know the one woman that I sent to you who is
what did I tell her
right now? You were 100% honest with her. She was trying to get out because of her son being autistic.
I don't think she got out, did she?
She didn't. But you were honest with her. Everyone else was, they were sending her paperwork. One guy charged her so much money and you did right by her. And that impressed me.
I told her why she wouldn't get out, what she would have to fill out, and then what they would use to deny it.
Yeah.
Not to waste her time because it wasn't going to go anywhere. You know, I know the system. I know what's going to work. I know what won't work. Where the system can bullshit you people, They can't bullshit me. I know the system.
So let me ask you something. So I now somebody in the community. I really screw up. I made a bad choice.
Uh-oh.
I'm getting investigated. I'm scared. My attorney is telling me you got exposure. You're going to prison. And now I just want hope. So I call up Larry Levine. What are you going to say to me?
I'm going to say to you, how much time are you looking at and how much money do you have?
5 years. Let's say 5 years.
Okay, I'm going to say, well, that's not worth fleeing to Mexico over. See, when people call me, they know they need help, but they don't know. They're not sure what it is they need. So the first question I'm going to ask people, I'm slurring my words. Who knows? Haven't even started drinking yet, but I do have a bottle of water here. Okay, so I asked them, well, what is your situation? That puts like a wall up where they have to think about it. Yeah, what is my situation? So then they'll tell me, and I'll ask them, well, what is it you're looking to do? What is it you want?
Not do time. I got 4 kids. I'm a single mother. I don't want to do time. I screwed up. It's not my fault.
Okay, yeah, well, I have them break the crime down to me. While I'm talking to them on the phone, I'm on Pacer. And you know Pacer.
Yes, I do very well.
That's the federal court system's computer. And I'm looking their case up. I'm scanning through their indictment and their plea, whatever is there. And before you know it, I know more about their case than they do. And then I'll start quizzing them and finding out if they're full of shit or not. And after they've told me their story, and I don't necessarily believe what the government says because everybody lies.
Of course.
I'll either tell them, as I said before, you have hope, or if you think you're not going to go in, you got a better chance of Jesus appearing in front of you right now. Because your crime carries jail, it carries custody, it carries prison time. Now, can we get you positioned to get into a new institute, into a good institution? Like I'm your travel agent. Yeah, we can do that. Can we get you qualified for the Second Chance Act, RDAP, which is an early release program? We can do all that. Excuse me.
Well, will I get home on the CARES Act?
Well, maybe. See, this is another problem. The CARES Act is going around right now because of COVID. And
yeah, all these people, they hear all these terms and they don't know what they are.
Okay. I do a lot of CARES Act stuff with Holly Coleman. And are we 100% successful? If I told you yes, I'd be lying. I won't lie. Have we been successful and got people out early? Have we been successful to the point people never went in and the judge had believed this or not? Believe it, I don't know. I'm slurring my words. Believe it or not, we've gotten people who never went into custody and the judge has modified their J&C after the fact.
Wow.
Which really pissed off. Holly did this. You know what? Smart chick. Holly did this, and the person never had to go in, and their clock was running, you know? But the BOP, the Bureau of Prisons, they fight back on these because it's really, really hard to get the BOP to take a position on.
Oh, it is. I got a woman home after 6 weeks who got 2 years because the BOP said she was pregnant. She's 59. She had a hysterectomy.
Or was she really pregnant?
Said she was pregnant. So they released her.
See, that's what I mean. Special kind of stupid. A 59-year-old woman, they could have given her a piss test and figured it out.
Yeah, they said her test came back. She was pregnant.
You know what? I'm going to start telling people to do that. I'm going to start telling dudes who go in.
Yeah.
Say you're pregnant because they might believe it.
Yeah, that's it.
But I help people out. I give guidance. I give advice. I'm going to teach you what you need to know from the day you go in to the day you go out or get out. And here's what I was going to tell you. Remember I said I forgot what I was going to say?
Yeah.
I know the court system. I know what happens from the time you get that target letter or the FBI comes crashing your door down and you get out on bond. And I can guide you from indictment or information all the way through the sentencing memorandum, the psychological report, the plea agreement, whatever it is, sentencing, designation, supervised release. I don't want to say there's nothing I don't know. I'd be lying. You know, I don't know.
But what if someone says, what if I said to you, but I have an attorney. Isn't he supposed to do all that for me?
I say, Yeah, your attorney is supposed to do it, but your attorney, the difference between me and your lawyer has never spent one day behind the fence, has he? I have.
That's
Your
why
lawyer,
attorneys use prison consultants.
your lawyer wants one thing. And you know what that is? It's our mutual friend. This is Ben Franklin. Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
This is right. Okay. This is Ben Franklin. The whole objective of your lawyer is to get that money from your pocket into his pocket. He's not going to do your lawyer, him or her, and they're not all bad. I have friends that are lawyers.
Yeah.
They're not going to do the work anyway. The lawyer is going to turn it over to their legal assistant, bill you, I don't know, $200-300 an hour, $500 an hour, pay the legal assistant $25, $30, or $40 an hour. The legal assistant isn't really going to know the system. It's all cookie cutter and doesn't care. They want to move you through the system really fast because the less amount of time they work on it, they're making more dollars per hour.
That's right.
So they don't care. Jackie, how many people have come to you and said, oh, my lawyer said I'd get straight probation?
Oh, my God. I would tell you probably 8 out of the 10 women I work with, and I've worked with hundreds.
I know. It's all bullshit.
Yeah.
Now, you know what the guidelines are for you people that don't. The U.S. sentencing guidelines, okay? They've got a chart. It's called the sentencing chart, where they figure out what your offense level is, your criminal history is. Then there's like a matrix that comes together.
A point system. A
point system, offense level and points. Well, there's different zones. In different zones, I think it's above 12 months, isn't it, that doesn't qualify for probation?
Yes.
Is that zone D or zone A?
Zone A.
Okay. Well, anyway, whatever zone it is.
Yeah.
If you're sentenced, let's say that you stole a bunch of money or you allegedly stole money. You got some co-defendants, you've got a semi-serious crime. You don't qualify for probation. So even though your lawyer said, oh, you'll get straight probation, your lawyer's full of shit. It's not going to happen. And I have to pull.
Not in federal.
I have to pull people's heads out of their ass every day. I mean, every day I get these calls and tell people, let's be realistic. Let's break this down. And I'll go over the sentencing guideline chart with them. I'll look at their indictment. At this point, I haven't charged them a penny, okay? Say, here's what you're facing and why. Here's what your lawyer's probably going to say and why. And here's what's going to happen and why. And I can't change that, but what I can do is help guide that and get you positioned so you can take advantage of different programs and different things. And essentially, we're going to do damage control and we're going to minimize your exposure. And they appreciate that. Somebody was honest with them. The lawyer doesn't care.
Do you help with reputation management at all?
I should probably start on my own.
That's a huge thing right now.
Do you do it?
I don't. I mean, I tell them, really for me, the only thing, and I've done it for myself.
Okay.
You just create new content and pushes everything down.
Well, I'm going to give your view, as I say, I'm going to give my viewers a quick lesson on how to do this. These are your viewers. Okay, here's what you do, people. Put yourself up a bullshit website. I don't care what it is, okay? And I want you to write a bunch of poetry or steal a bunch of poetry off someone else's site. I want you to come up with recipes. And I want you to put this on the website. Then I want you to insert your name in these different text descriptions, and then just leave it there. And eventually Google's going to come around. They're going to index this. It's going to pop up in the search engine, and it's going to push all that shit they're saying about you down. The new stuff's going to come up. I tell people to do that all. I tell them that.
You need to add that service. Do you know, I have women that have paid thousands of dollars for reputation management. When I tell them all the time, it's a simple process of creating new content to push the old content down and the indexing.
You know what? I have an idea. I always have an idea.
You do.
I can put a website up because I own a phone company, a prison phone company. We do correctional calling. I've got my own data center. I've got capabilities you couldn't imagine between the studio and my phone company.
Okay.
I can put a website up, throw a domain on it, give it to one of your clients and tell them, all right, knock yourself out. You know what? Give me $500. I'll guide you. This is yours, and you can do this yourself. Don't pay some asshole thousands of dollars who's just going to rip you off. It's true.
I know. And it's the same as some of these prison consultants. The reputation management people I've heard of are doing the same thing. They're taking such advantage of people in vulnerable positions because they're afraid, and Google is a felon's worst nightmare right now. I mean, go into prison, you're coming home, you need a job, and now you're Google.
See, if you Google Larry Levine prison, okay, go ahead and do it. I know some of you will. I come up about 500,000 times. You will just see me everywhere. I've been on every major news network talking about something. I'm Jewish. You can't shut me up.
I just did it.
Did you do it?
Yeah.
How many times does it say it comes up?
Oh my God, there's pages and pages and pages and
What's
pages.
the number? Look on the upper right.
I'll tell you, about 7,990,000 results in 0.55 seconds.
Those aren't all me. Click on
probably
video.
not, but I'm just saying that's the results of Larry Levine.
You Googled me. Now, click on the little tab that says videos under Google with my name. Tell me what comes up.
86,500 results.
Okay, and look at all the videos. You see me on every news network talking about something?
I do. I'm impressed. MSNBC. There is, let's see. Oh my God, from the top, there's every news station.
Every network.
Yeah, CNN, prison. Yep.
I've been on all of them. They like me because I just
HLN, Nightline.
I just say things how it is. You know,
ABC News.
I'm everywhere. Enough, Jackie. I know they can do it themselves. Don't waste your time. I'm not trying to.
No, but it's so interesting. And you know what's the best thing about doing this?
What's that?
Every single one, they're not going to see what I see. They're not going to, they all see dark glasses. I don't.
You don't have, you people get to see my eyes. Okay.
That's right.
And I'm going to put a link up in a minute that you need to go to my GoFundMe, because to see my eyes, hey, watch this. Now you can see him with no fucking glasses. People.
Look at that.
There's no free lunch.
This is a world premiere now.
I expect a paycheck out of this or something.
Yeah, this is a world premiere.
It is. You know, Holly's been telling me for a long time, you need to do videos without your glasses. I'm like, I
agree with her though. You're much more approachable.
I need to become approachable. I need to act like I really give a shit. You know?
Yeah, but you do. You don't want to act
there, but I have no toleration for people that whine and cry.
Yeah.
You people that are going into custody, and you know who you are. I don't have to tell you. When you were taking that money, falsifying documents, whatever the fuck it was you were doing, slinging weed, I don't know. You knew you were breaking the law. There's no question about that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, guess what? You got caught. So now instead of whining, crying, and complaining about it, you're going to go into custody. Maybe you learn something. Spend your time in custody wisely. I have people that go in. They think I'm nuts anyway. They've hired me because they know I know my shit. And I tell them, you're going to enjoy prison. You're going to enjoy the downtime because this is going to be the first time in your life. You have no responsibility. You don't have.
That's exactly what I say to every single woman I talk with.
Except count time. Don't break the laws. Make sure where you're supposed to be. And people tell me, yeah, you're nuts. I'm like, okay. Then they get out of custody and they call me. They go, Larry, guess what? You were right. I'm like, yeah, no shit, I was right.
Yeah.
This is why I didn't want to get out. I didn't want to come home. I remember saying, wait a minute. You mean I've got to rejoin society and I've got to go work and I've got to drive and I said, I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying here. I'm not leaving. I wouldn't.
And you know what? You were at that cusp because I was talking about this I had Jay Lowry, who's a correctional officer, on last week. And we talked about being institutionalized over a certain period of time that you're in prison. You just don't want to come home.
It's called complacency. Can't. I got complacent.
Yeah. Well, 10 years, 11 prisons, the emotional distraught right there is crazy.
Does it look to you like those assholes broke me? broke my spirit.
No, I think they made you stronger.
They did. I thrived in prison. And you
Yeah.
know, when I told them that I was going to fuck them right to the last minute, I wasn't joking. You know, on your last day when you get out and you do a merry-go-round, did you do that at your wherever?
Oh, yeah, of course.
You take this little
merry-go-round, your name is up on the...
You take your paper around and you get everybody to sign off on it. They go, what's your first name? What's your last name? What's your inmate number? What's your mother's name? They want to make sure that it's really the right person.
Yeah.
They're releasing. Well, guess what, Jackie? After those 10 years, for some reason, on that last day, I couldn't remember my inmate number.
Get out.
I forgot. I told them, at least I told them that.
Yeah,
but
right.
then I said, but I'll tell you what, I'll give you my FBI number. You know, you have an FBI number, right? Maybe
I didn't know that.
Okay. The BOP number is really the U.S. Marshal number. It's not your BOP number. It's your U.S.
It tells you the state you're from. It gives you
the last 3 digits tell you what your district is.
Yeah.
So I tell them, I don't remember my inmate number. I was just fucking with them. I go, but I'll give you my FBI number. And they go like, yeah, sure. Like, you know that. I go, let's see. 544467PB2. They're like, how do you know that? I said, don't worry about how I know it. You'd be surprised at what I know. And how much did you get any gate money when you got out? Do you know what gate money is?
No, I didn't get it.
When you get released, they're supposed to give you some money. How much money do you think they offered me?
How much?
$2.50.
Get out.
And I told them.
Did you take it? I hope you did not take it.
I did. Listen to this, okay? This really pissed them off too, because I made it my life's work to piss these assholes off. I told them, I'm sorry, I'm not authorized to accept your money. I can't take it. And this lieutenant gets in my face and tells me that if I don't take the money, they don't have to release me. I'm like, really? I says, well, listen up, numbnuts. I called the lieutenant numbnuts.
Oh, my God.
I pointed to the clock. I go, it's 3:30, and I can't be on your 4 o'clock count. So you don't have a fucking choice. You have to release me. And you can take that money and shove that money right up your ass. And he got
an insult. $2.50.
$2. It was enough to take the metro in Los Angeles.
Wow.
Now, I had money. They gave me the money on my commissary. You know?
Right.
But I wouldn't take their money. And I just wanted to put it, and I told them, I'm going to fuck you people to the right to the last minute. And, you know, I was released twice. This is really funny. I got violated in the halfway house for putting up American Prison Consultants. I still own the URL.
Oh, something like Lynn Espeo.
Well,
she got violated.
They were pissed off because they said you can't run a business when you're in custody. And I had told the halfway house I was setting this up and doing it, and they knew about it. Well, I didn't know about Google. I didn't know anything about it. I was fresh out. When I went into custody, I was using Windows 95. Remember that?
Yes, I do. I remember DOS.
So yeah, no shit. DOS 3.1. So anyway, I didn't know about Google. So Google indexes it, and I guess the BOP is continually running searches. Well, the U.S. Marshals come out to the halfway house, and they take me back into custody. And they tell them, and the unit manager or whoever, the DHO says, well, you can't run a business in custody. I'm like, well, you people told me to prepare for my release, and this is what I'm going to be doing. And I went round and round with them. And finally, the DHO, that's a disciplinary hearing officer.
Yep.
You'll learn about it, people. She said, look, I'm not going to argue with you. I know who you are. Here's what I'm going to do. You got 2 months left. We're going to assign you here. You don't have to work, and you can sleep all day. How's that? I said, let's do it. And I signed her little papers. But that was the second time. The first time I got out, I was in Taft, California. This is when they actually released me to the halfway house.
Yeah.
It was really, Taft was a really nice place. At the time, it was run by, not WAC, was it WAC and HUD? No, GEO. Yeah, it was run by GEO. Now it's run by Management and Training Corporation. It was a private prison. And I used to tell people, this is the nicest prison I had ever been at. You know, people are whining and complaining how terrible it is and all this nonsense. Like, you fucking crybaby. You don't even know what a real prison is. But it was so nice. It was like central air conditioning, TVs in the dorms, telephones in the dorms. Everything was in the dorms. And I used to say, this place, really cool showers. I said, this place is so nice that if I could get a bottle of booze, a cell phone, and a couple women, I could stay here. Why leave? This is great. You know,
You realize you're insane.
People were escaping from there all the time. I didn't understand why, because it was such a sweet place to be at. So it's my release date, right? And they're getting ready to send me on to the halfway house. So I go to R&D, and, you know, I'm in my prison clothes, and they're supposed to give me some clothes. And the guy says, well, I don't have anything here for you. And I go, really? Well, why is that? And he mumbled something, and I go, look, this isn't the first time you had to do this. You knew that I was being released today, didn't you? He's like, yeah. I go, so you knew that I needed clothes. I said, so don't give me that bullshit. I said, you people fucked up. I said, guess what? I'm not leaving until I get real close. I went back into the cell, and I slammed the cell door closed, and I laid down, and I went to sleep. I said, and I'm yelling, well, why don't you go to the commissary and get me some sweats, and I can wear that. And he goes, well, we can't do that. I go, yeah, because it's too expensive, isn't it? See, when you go into custody, people are going to learn.
They'll learn, yeah.
They end up sending some dumpy staff member, big fat dumpy staff member. They end up sending them to like Walmart, and they get me clothes to wear. And then they give me a check. They give me a release check. They go, you can just go cash this at any Bank of America. Well, I go into Bank of America. I end up in
no ID
at a halfway house, Vineland Correctional in Hollywood. And they let me out the next morning. They kind of give me a furlough. Remember, halfway house, you're still in custody.
Yeah.
So I go down, I'm walking up, I think Sunset or Hollywood Boulevard. I found out where there's a B of A, and I walk in. I need to cash this. And they're like looking at my BOP ID, because I kept it. And they're like, well, that's not a California driver. We can't cash that. And I go, well, the prison said that you could. They bring a manager over. No, we can't cash that. I go, are you sure? Because I don't have time to fuck around. I only got 2 hours. So I said, give me that. And I grabbed the check back, and I'm pissed off. I had a few dollars in my pocket. I walk past one of these check cashing shops that seem to be anywhere. I figure, all right, let's just do a Hail Mary here. Maybe I'll get something done. I throw my BOP ID over to the lady, and she's looking at my birthday, and she gets in her computer. And she goes, did you ever live on this street? I'm like, matter of fact, I did. And she's asking me a little bit of information. Turns out that years and years and years ago, I had used that company, and they had bought out some place. I was in their computer. And they cashed the check for me. They're like, wow, look at this. I even gave the lady a $5 tip. And thank you. So I get out of the check cashing place. I'm walking back up. I think it was Sunset, because I was over near Hollywood High School. I get back, and I'm walking, and I stop at a payphone. And I had some phone numbers for the Taft prison who gave me the check.
Yeah.
And I bought a phone card at a liquor store, and I start making phone calls to the prison, to whatever, to administration, I don't remember, whatever.
You weren't supposed to be in a liquor store going on.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of shit, honey, I wasn't supposed to do. But I start calling the prison, and I was sure to let them know it was me. They said, you assholes gave me this check and said I can cash it, and nobody will cash it. I said, and if you're doing this shit to me, you're doing this to other people. And guess what? I won't forget that you're doing this. I'm going to do something about this. And I ended up what was it with? The BOP, or the Justice Department Inspector General. That's who I went to. And they ended up changing policy at Taft. That if you had money, they had to give you like up to $300 in cash and they could give you the rest of the money in a check. And then they adopted that throughout the whole BOP. So you people can thank me. Now I understand they give them what, a plastic debit card or something?
Yeah, it's a debit card.
Okay. This
it's
is
like
really
a state
funny.
card.
They gave Lynn Espejo, okay?
Yeah.
They gave her a debit card, but the only problem is the debit card never worked. I don't know what she has on it. Can't get anybody on.
He didn't activate it.
Yeah, whatever it is, it didn't work. So I'm thinking, all right, if they did it to her, they're doing it to other people. This is how stupid they are, okay? When you go into custody, you people, you need to keep your eyes open, keep your mouth shut. And you know who you need to rely on? Yourself. Don't rely on the wardens. See, when you go in, you know how you hear all these stories and you got to worry about things? It's not the other inmates you got to worry about. It's the staff that you got to worry about.
Yeah.
The staff, never think the staff are your friends, because the staff.
So I have a question to wrap things up. Are you going to now be helping all of these people home on the CARES Act that are being threatened to go back?
You know what? Holly is working on
you.
that in one capacity, and Lynn is working on that in another. I'll tell you what I'm working on, and I'm adding to my website. I've got some internal IG Inspector General reports from these different agencies. I've got sources everywhere.
Have you had anybody that, well, I know Lynn has written a couple of articles on you.
Hold on. Yeah. Last year, I started working on this. I'm going after all the clients that have been busted for COVID benefit fraud. And there is a ton of them out there. And there's several different agencies
PPP
that are investigating. PPP it's minuscule.
Yeah.
All different kinds of programs. And I figured, you know what? These people don't realize they're signing under penalty of perjury. And eventually, you know, everything was in a rush. There's no free fucking lunch. These people are going to get caught. If you got caught, listen, unemployment, PPP, SBA loans, grants, whatever it is, and you lied on those documents, you better call me right now, 8555-PRISON, because you're seriously going to be in trouble. Might not be tomorrow, might not be the next day, but eventually
I agree.
It's going to catch up with you.
Yeah, Jeff and I talk about this a lot, and Jeff knew too. It was going to, they were going to catch up with people.
Oh yeah, I planned for it. I know crime. I know fraud. I know how to plan crime. I know how to commit crime. I know how to get around crime, and I know how to get free food at McDonald's, and now you do too. So that's what I'm working on. Holly is working on getting people out under the CARES Act. We get a lot of people from Pink Lady Prison Consultants.
Yeah.
Lynn Espejo, my partner in the Midnight Report. Matter of fact, you're on the Midnight Report. I've got all these.
I am. I'm an investigative reporter for the Midnight
Investigative
Report.
correspondent. You see, your press pass will be coming soon. Here's what happened. And for those of you that want to check it out, it's midnightreport.net. I had somebody tell me, wow, that's really great you're doing that, but you're probably going to get sued. And I thought, oh, shit, yeah, I probably will get sued. I went out and I bought liability insurance for libel, slander, and defamation of character. So if somebody comes along and they get cute thinking there's a big payout with me, I'll just turn it over to the insurance company, who's going to bring in a lawyer, and then they're going to have to bring in their own lawyer, and it's not going to be worth their while. But we're working on CARES Act, getting people out early. We're working on First Step, Second Chance Act, RDAP. Lynn Espejo is putting out a grip of stories on the CARES Act and such.
They're fantastic stories.
Earlier today, Amy Candu, do you know who she is?
Yes, I do.
You know what? I've never spoken with her. I sent her a friend request years ago. She never responded, and I figured, what the fuck? Screw her. But she's working with Amy Candu. She's working.
Who's afraid of you?
Who knows? She's working with Amy Candu. She's working with FAM. She's working with change.org. She's working with Lisa Legal. All these different organizations are taking the articles that Lynn, and she's the chief investigative correspondent of the Midnight Report.
Yep.
They're all quoting us and linking to us because Lynn Espejo is putting out such great product.
Yeah.
Information, midnightreport.net.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Fantastic articles. just really good stuff.
got
And
like
I
3 of
suggest
them.
anyone who's on home confinement who thinks they're going to go back to call Larry, because that's a big problem right now.
It is.
Yeah. And before we wrap it up again, I want Larry to tell us one thing about him that has nothing to do with Wall Street Prison
Do
Consultants.
I need to put my glasses back on or no?
No, you can't for this question.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, what's up?
Tell us something about you that has nothing to do with prison.
I have the cutest chow puppy who's 2.5 years old named Hazel. And she is the only one I like. She's been with me since COVID. My kids are jealous of her. My grandchildren are jealous of her. She's been with me literally she's here now somewhere. She's been with me 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I kind of cheated here because people that are on my Facebook page, they know this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But see, so you do have empathy and sympathy because you love that dog.
She's the only one I like. No, I like other people. I take things day by day. I don't stress on shit. And I'm here to help. So I'm like the A team. If you've got a problem and no one else can help you, call me. If I can't help,
call Saul. Instead of calling Saul,
I was in Institutional Investor magazine a couple years ago. I'll send you a link to it. In fact, they called the article "Go Call Larry." Okay, and it said the
that's
same
wonderful.
thing
I love it.
for people who got busted. That he's going to be honest with you. Here's Hazel. Hi, little girl.
Here she is.
She heard her name. That's why she's here.
She did.
I give people the honest truth. I'm not going to give you false hope. And if I can't help you, I'll tell you, I can't help you and no one else can either. Don't waste your time and don't waste your money.
I agree wholeheartedly. And listen to Larry on Friday nights with the Chaos Crew.
Chaos.
You didn't plug that.
Let me plug it. Chaos101fm.com. I own a radio station in LA. And I do the Friday Chaos Crew. It's
so much fun.
It's 2 hours of chaos and fun in your life that I've stolen from you.
Yep.
You never get back. And sometimes I've got people, matter of fact, 866-451-1451. We broadcast out of Long Island, New York, but we're simulcast everywhere on iHeartRadio, Sirius, wherever. And sometimes I get 10, 20 people calling in at once.
Oh, it was crazy. I called in, was it last week or the week before? I ended up hanging up because it was so crazy. It was chaos. It was wonderful.
I get people. In fact, it was great before the election because I would get Trumpers calling on one side, then I would get Biden people on the other. And I would engage them and I would instigate shit. And I'd have them at each other's throat. I just did that for fun. But you can join me every Friday at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern on chaos101fm.com. I would love to hear from you. And
so much fun having you. Yes, I'm going to log on Friday night.
You should. I will put your picture on the Chaos Crew banner, and I will make you part of the Chaos Crew.
I would love that.
See, you're what we call alumni. Because
you did. You called me when I logged in. You said, Jackie
Paul Valeri, several times. She's alumni. Welcome to the show, Jackie. Most of my callers now, they're not Trumpers. They're people that have done time in the feds, and we talk about the prison system, criminal justice matters. It's like an open forum. I don't plan these shows. Jackie didn't plan this. We talked about this before we went on. She goes,
it's more fun.
You want to open it? It's like, just do it. She does the same thing I do. You take it off the cuff. This is funny. I know we're just about out of time.
Yep.
When I go on some of these news news network channels, and they send me a white paper as far as like what they want me to talk about and shit. Well, that goes right in the shredder.
Yep. Same.
I tell them, don't bother sending it because I'm not going to read it. I'm not going to follow it. I'm going to say shit right off the top of my head.
That's authenticity. That's why I love it.
It's authentic. I know my shit. and it comes off much better. Well, I do the same thing on my show, and I did the same thing on this broadcast. So when can people see this?
We are every Sunday it comes out. Every Sunday night. Yeah, it's taped. And every Sunday night, our producer, Ryan, who is phenomenal, gets it all together. He edits a little bit, and then it comes out on a Sunday night. And I am loving the feedback we're getting on it. We had 600.
Are you going to beep out the bad words?
Huh?
You're going to beep out the words like fuck and all that?
No, I'm not.
You know, this is funny. I know we're out of time. I'm on Fox News. I'm with Neil Cavuto. This was years ago. And he wanted me to take my glasses off. And I'm not taking my glasses off. And they're talking on the satellite feed to New York, wherever that asshole was.
Yeah.
And, well, he'd really like you to take them off. I says, you tell that stupid son of a bitch, I'm not taking my fucking glasses off. And if he wants me to take them off, I'm just leaving, right? And the guy mumbles something to him. I go, that's not what I said. You have a hearing problem? You tell him that exactly like I said. He goes, well, Larry said you're an asshole, and he's not taking his fight. He did it, repeated the whole thing. He looks at me, goes, yeah, Neil said you can leave the glasses on. But if you look, Google Larry Levine prison, Neil Cavuto. I reached into my pocket. We were talking about Bernie Madoff, okay? And I thought I'd never be on Fox News again after this. We're talking about Madoff, and Neil Cavuto tries to cut me off. And I reach into my pocket, and this wasn't planned. I pull out a rubber glove that I had found in the vehicle that they sent. They always send limos and shit for me. For whatever reason, I took this glove. I don't know. It was a long one. I took out this rubber glove. I says, well, I'll tell you what Bernie Madoff has to look forward to. I put the glove on and I slid it down my wrist. I said, he better do something. They're going to go in deep, so he better get used to it. Cavuto just goes ballistic. And I thought, well, I guess I'm never going to go on Fox again. I've been on, and I'm in the black book now. I've been on Fox like 100 times since then. And now when I go and I do a remote at Fox, I do it from here. I go down there. They go,
oh, you are a ton of fun. I love having you on. I love listening to all your shows.
Oh, you just cut me off. I'm going to have to get the glove out. No,
I did cut you off. I completely.
I like coming on. This was fun.
I'm plugging this big time because it's your premiere. It's Larry Levine premiere. I am. Wait till I tell Holly that I got the premiere.
Okay. My wife just got me these. She just got me these prescription glasses. So I guess when I'm driving, I wear these, although these are prescription too. And I've had these glasses well over 10 years.
Have you really?
Yeah, I have.
Oh my God. I love without them. You look like Sylvester Stallone without them.
You like Sylvester Stallone. Hey,
I love Sylvester.
You were watching Rocky the other night.
I was.
And we were messaging each other, and you had told me some semi-private shit. How'd that work? I'm going to make you watch people. I'm going to make her blush. She'll probably cut this out. Hey, how did that work out for you?
It was very nice having you on, Larry Levine.
Okay, well, I enjoyed being on, and I'd love to come on again.
I would love to have you. You're so much fun. Thank you for coming.